Face it till you make it. What if the windscreen you're chasing in games is actually holding you back? For years, we've defined success by high scores and completion rates, a career, many other stuff, titles. But what if true victory is found in personal growth and unforgettable experiences, not just objective achievements? Get ready to redefine what winning truly means in your favorite virtual worlds, but also in your everyday life. Welcome to a quick reset episode. It's your girl, Zap, where we have a heart-to-heart conversation on what it's like to redefine success beyond traditional metrics. Now, I want you to take a moment to define what is your definition of winning. Let's do this as a call to reclaim winning, success, and overall play. I'm using, the cheerful word of play because before the podcast, the channel was founded and surrounded around the niche of gaming. And even now, as we speak, I truly enjoy gaming still. I just do it more in my own personal leisure, for my own personal enjoyment, of course. But as many of you, the irresistible pull of achievements, trophies, and leaderboards is at times what drives us to chase those digital badges. That initial satisfaction of a new high score, but how quickly it fades and leaves us wanting more. Even the pressure to, like people like to say, get good, and the anxiety of not stacking up against other players online. For me, it was having to explore the joy of mastering a challenging game mechanic, even if it's not a formal achievement. So I had to define my own personal milestones and what does winning look for me. Before, back in the day, I used to do these campaigns on Twitch where I used to call it my 100% campaigns. And I had a talk with this one person, and their definition of completion was completely different to mine's. They were actually offended that I would say that I 100% completed a game, because in their own definition of what 100% completion was, they thought that 100% completion was unlocking all the badges, all the achievements, completing every single side quest, completing the main story, completing absolutely everything, based on another YouTube channel that they followed, But over the years, I learned that 100% completion can mean so many things. Yes, while some people understand and believe that 100% completion can mean that, going after every achievement, every badge, every trophy, every side quest. And I've done it personally. I've completed games that way. But I've also just 100% completed the story. And that is a 100% completion. Completing the main campaign, completing the main story of the game. And that was my definition of 100% completion. So just getting through the entirety of a game live was already an achievement, because it is hard to host live and provide entertainment to your audience, but connecting and bonding with the community so we have something something that we can celebrate together, as a family, as a squad. And when I realized this, it filled me up with joy, because now I go beyond, the achievements and what the devs think can be entertaining and what they offered us to continue playing and spending hours into a game that we enjoy, and coming up with my own challenges, coming up with my own personal achievements. I truly believe that the unexpected narratives and emergent gameplay moments can really create lasting memories. One of my favorite memories actually was playing recently Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I am not as great at platforms. It's still something I'm truly still trying to get better at. And I was really feeling the narrative of Donkey Kong Bonanza, and without spoiling it, of course, towards the end of the game, my husband likes to sit next to me and see me play, and he really, really loves this game. And all of a sudden, I paused, and on the pause screen, on the menu screen, he was like, "Oh, I forgot. This game actually offers you co-op gameplay." And because I know you're closer to the end of the game, I would like to experience this again, but with you. And that was a lasting memory, because even though I was personally struggling in defeating this final boss, I wasn't feeling alone, because I had someone next to me cheering me on and giving me tips and telling me what to do and what not to do. And yes, we lost a couple of times because your girl here was struggling, but towards the end, when we finally got to do it, we got to experience the ending together, and we got to bond over a game. And I love how you can share experiences with friends, with loved ones, with people online in co-op games, because they can feel more rewarding than any solo accomplishment. So defining my own personal milestones, going beyond the scoreboard, is truly something that I consider is true success. Now, when you take it into real life, instead of, once again, going through societal view of what success looks like, job titles, careers, metrics, numbers for anything. Well, all these things are good because they do provide some kind of structure where you can move and see, your results and your growth. You also have to sit down, just like I explained in the gaming niche, and come up with your own personal achievements, your own personal milestones. You need to create your own happiness. For example, for me right now, as you're watching and listening to this conversation, I've transitioned into a more slow-paced life. So I've been going back, tapping into my roots, my origins, and learning to become more self-sufficient by baking and making things from scratch. Do I know how to do these things? Of course not. I am self-taught in a lot of these things. And as I practice and do it more and more, I not only polish my skills, but I feel like I personally am being more productive. I'm being able to nourish my family, being able to provide, being able to not rely on other people for my needs, because I am creating solutions and providing ways to meet those needs. And it's amazing what you can do with your two hands. I've learned to bake bread. I'm now learning to reduce food waste by creating my own delicious stocks, like vegetable stock and more. I've recreating some of my favorite desserts when it comes to food, like cinnamon rolls and pudding and cake, and doing all these pastries and just tapping into the wonderful world of baking, but reinventing it in a way where it's healthier, still watching our diet and taking care of our health. And I'm able to do that because I'm stepping out of my comfort zone and redefining my own happy world. And when you step into the world with that type and that kind of mentality, then there's no space for loss. There's no space for talking down to yourself, for seeing yourself as a failure, because you are always going to see the areas of self-improvement as areas of opportunity. And the areas that you've mastered, you're going to see it as the areas where you have redefined success, where you have created unforgettable journeys. Going back to gaming, highlighting games where the journey, the world, and the narrative are actually the true rewards, where you come up with unique challenges and you create your own fun, where also you can have an emotional impact through somebody's life story, through a game's story or atmosphere, something that of course metrics can't capture. So I want you to reflect on what truly brings you joy and satisfaction. I want you to play the game. Have the freedom to play games on your own terms. Have the freedom to do things in life on your own terms without the pressure of external validation, without the outcome of always having some kind of bragging rights. If anything, have the bragging rights to celebrate your own personal achievements. I want you to redefine success as a personal fulfillment and memorable experience. And of course, not just objective achievements. As I've started completing more and more hobbies, not only gaming, but coloring, sketching, drawing, crocheting, I think about the journey. And when I look at the end product, I'm not just thinking about, wow, I finished this, I created this. I'm thinking about the memories that are attached to this piece that I created. This piece that once upon a time didn't exist, but now exists because I took the time to make it. And now I can always have those memories. I can always treasure those moments because I created something out of nowhere that I can always look back to for the same. And like I've mentioned many times before, it's not about the destination, but it's all about the journey. Now, yes, I cannot speak on your behalf, but I want you to sit down. Now's the moment to think about those things that used to mean success. But what does success mean to you right now? I want you to have the satisfaction of returning to a difficult boss fight like I did and finally overcoming it through perseverance. I want you to learn how games can teach us problem solving, strategic thinking, and even emotional regulation. It's so powerful what hobbies can teach us. but also having a sense of self-improvement and skill development that transcends any in-game stat, that transcends any job titles, any metrics, any opinions from societal view, from family members, from friends, even from yourself. I want you to just create unforgettable journeys and steer away from the achievement trap and figure out, why do you do what you do every day? I cannot wait to hear from you and see how you improve week by week through your own personal journey. Thank you for listening to this quick reset episode. I want to remind you that the podcast is available on all streaming platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Deezer, and more. Anywhere where podcast is currently streamed, we are available. Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, and now Season 4. Thank you for the ongoing support. I would appreciate if you take one moment to leave your feedback and ratings as you listen to each and every one of these episodes. As always, I want to remind you to always reset and zap for the week. Have a great week, guys. Bye-bye.